Hey, welcome. Surprise, surprise, surprise. You thought you were getting Josh tonight. You were wrong. It's just me. It's just me tonight. Thought I was getting a Jaxxon 5 segment for you too. And I was wrong. It's cool though. You, me, we're going to have a good time tonight. We got a few things to chat about. Hello to everybody in the chat. Let me throw up a few names here. I got to scroll back. Some of you guys are here early. G-Force rolling in early. He probably already went to bed though. I mean, maybe he's still hanging out with us. I don't know. But yeah, usual suspects in order. Love that. Welcome to some episode in the 90s of the Holochronicles Podcast. I'm your host tonight and special guest, Andy. And you know what? I might just throw up a link in the chat and maybe have one of you guys come on here with me. Just to bounce some things off of. It was a big day today in our household. My youngest, my daughter, started kindergarten today. And let me tell you, it was not a tearful, oh, my little girl, my last one, she's going off to school. Now we don't have any kids at home anymore. It wasn't like that at all. This girl's been ready for kindergarten for about 2 years. So it's about time she got off to school. But she had a good day, scraped her elbow immediately on the playground, shed some tears, but everything's good on that front. I got to tell you guys something that happened to me this weekend that it's just good fortune. The heavens parted, the sun shone down upon yours truly, and heaven leaned over and kissed me on the forehead. What could I be talking about? Well, some of you guys know that I'm a school teacher by trade, but for a little side money, I'll DJ events like weddings and birthday parties and stuff like that. And when I say DJ, I mean I play some music. I'm not scratching or, mixing things. I do mix songs together sometimes, but I'm not, it's not like I'm Daft Punk, everybody's bouncing up and down. It's not usually like that, but if people drink enough, sometimes they can kind of lurch a little bit and fall over. But no, I was DJing a wedding this weekend, and I got the biggest tip I've ever gotten before. Prior to this weekend, the biggest tip I ever got was from one person. I'm talking about from one person. Sometimes guys will throw you a couple bucks just to play a song they want to hear, and that's great. I don't have a tip jar or anything, so whatever. But the most anyone had ever tipped me, one person had ever tipped me, was $200, right? And that's nothing to sneeze at. That's generous. Way more than I would ever expect. I really don't even expect to get tipped. I get paid to be there, and that's what I expect. Anything tipped is awesome. But I got tipped $500 this weekend. $500. And I got it about halfway through the reception. And guess what I immediately did? Don't tell my wife. I immediately got on and started looking at double telescoping Luke Skywalkers. Oh, yeah. Because with what I got paid plus the tip, I might be able to buy one. So we'll just keep that on the down low. We'll just keep that on the down low, just between us girls here. And yeah, it's we'll just keep an eye out. Let's keep an eye out for any Twitter posts or videos, or maybe tune in next week. I don't know. There's no timeline. No purchases have been made yet, but some inquiries have been laid out there. So let's keep that on the back burner. Let's see. What's up, Anthony? Good to see you here. Rez, nice to see you. Everyone in the chat. There's a good little group here tonight. I think I think we'll start off this evening looking backwards. So we recently had on Joey, the Padawan collector. And I hope you guys have subscribed to his channel. He's got a unique adventure he's going on that I think we all can relate to in some fashion. He's starting from zero and trying to collect the original 96 plus, I think, a few variants, few specific variants, and he's video cataloging as he goes, and he's literally starting off at zero. But I think he's up to like 30 something at this point. But he's going for some big boys early, which is kind of fun to watch and fun to do if you're able. But we recently had him on, and I was thinking about, if I was doing what he was doing, what would I do to help me out? Right? What are some resources that are available that maybe some of you guys don't know about? Obviously, the community is an incredible resource. You guys listening and watching, you guys each have your own little, expertise in some way in vintage or modern Star Wars stuff, or maybe even the dark times that we call the 90s Star Wars. There is also an app. There's also an app that I didn't always know about, but it's pretty cool. I know a buddy of ours named Paul. We referenced him actually with Joey too. Paul's the guy that does all of the grading of his figures. And he's going for a whole graded set, and he's going to get it. I think he's currently got like 50 things waiting from AFA to get mailed back to him, but the turnaround time's pretty long. But let me put this up here, and you guys tell me if you've heard of it or used it. But it's an app. It's called Tracker for Vintage Star Wars, and it's got a little Luke with his extended single telescoping lightsaber as his avatar there. How many of you guys have ever seen this before? And on top of that, have any of you guys used it? If I were starting over and had a very small collection or no collection at all, and I was going to try and start from scratch, I would use this. Okay, here's some of what this app tracker will do. It'll let you know what current prices are for things that have sold, for example, on eBay. It'll take, and you can see, instead of, you can go to eBay and look at recently sold items, and that can be helpful. But this also, I think, takes into a couple other places into consideration as well. And it's a little more streamlined, and it's just for vintage Star Wars. To give you an idea of what things are what prices are going for. And I think that also includes mint on card and graded. I'm not 100% on that, but my buddy Paul swears by it. He says he uses it all the time, and it's been a tremendous resource for him and his collection. So if you haven't heard of this before, check it out. If there are things on your vintage Star Wars list that you still need to get, check it out. I have an iPhone, so I just went to the App Store and typed in Tracker for Vintage Star Wars, and it pops right up. So I thought I'd show that. That might be something you might want to take a look at, if you're into vintage Star Wars. Hey, what's up, Saber? So anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys, just in case you had never seen it, and it might be of some help to you. All right, I passed it along to Joey, and as a grown man, he can decide for himself if that's something he wants to use. Pardon me while I sip. G-Force, you're absolutely correct. I know Josh uses Action Figure 411 for Black Series, especially. That's what Josh uses it for. And it does have vintage collection and vintage on there as well. It's a great resource. You're absolutely right. We fully endorse this recommendation. Shout out to Matt. Happy birthday, Matt. That's right. Your birthday was recently. And I don't know what number that makes you now, but I think I'm still older than you. I think. It might be close, though. Might be a little closer today than it was a few days ago. But definitely happy birthday, buddy. Yeah, again, Action Force 411. It's free, too. So that's always nice. Moving right along. Lego. Lego is something that Lego are something that's great for kids. As an adult, I still love putting Lego together. Lego sets. I love well-made minifigures like the Bad Batch minifigures. I think those are great. I still love them. I've always, ever since I was a little kid, I've been putting Legos together. Whether it be at my grandma's house or at my folks' house, we always had Legos around. So there's always going to be a little special spot in my heart for Lego. But my son, who is a freshman this year, he's just starting high school. So we got one start in high school, and we got one start in kindergarten, and then another one in grade school. But he's starting high school, and he still loves putting Lego sets together as well. So I don't know if that makes Lego transformative beyond age groups, but it's certainly I just like building something. The extrinsic value I get from starting from bags of pieces to a finished product, like that's a good feeling. And it's a sense of accomplishment too. And then you can take it apart and get creative if you feel so inclined. Do you still put Lego sets together? I do. What was the most recent set you put together? For me, it was the Bad Batch Havoc Marauder. Great set, by the way. But Lego is sneaky. They have some insight that not everybody has. For example, you don't see Black Series, you don't see Vintage Collection making or creating figures or creatures that didn't show up on screen, right? Every figure that comes out, whether it be from an animated series or a movie, has been on screen, right? Even if it's just momentarily. I have always been impressed with Lego, but their ability to find some really obscure things and have them in Lego sets is kind of, I won't say it's mind-blowing because it's definitely explainable, but it's really cool. It's unique to Lego, I think. And unless you're talking about customs, right? Customs, anything's on the table with customs. But this is a large branded company, right? Name branded company that has a large Star Wars license. And they've gotten to put out a couple, we'll take a look at two in particular, Lego sets that are deep cuts. One is from the original trilogy and one is from the sequel trilogy. And by deep cuts, meaning they didn't show up on screen, but there's a Lego representation of them. Okay, so hopefully I got your juices going a little bit. Let's take a look at the first one. Let me pull it up here. I gotta be me and I gotta be Josh. So stay with me here. All right, first picture is from the sequel trilogy. All right, specifically The Force Awakens. Now, if you go back and recall how everybody was totally pumped for The Force Awakens coming out 2015, right? Everybody was hyped for it. And I still say it's a great movie. I loved it. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Yeah, you could say, well, whatever you want to say about it, but I enjoyed it. Lego in 2015, around the time when the movie came out, it might have been 2016, but when the set came out exactly, but they put out this little Lego set. And I don't know exactly when it came out. It could have even been just before, because sometimes they'll release things in advance to kind of grease the skids, right? Get some merch out there for when the movie hits. Well, they put this Lego set out there, and it never showed up in the movie. And for me, who enjoys a good Lego set and enjoys a good Star Wars movie, this came and went without me ever noticing that it was there. Okay. And I don't know if it was just something that was out for a little bit or if they left it on the shelves for a while. I don't know. Maybe you can recognize it. But it's this set right here. It's a Lego sand speeder. And it came in a little set. And it was supposed to be on Jakku. Okay. And it all kind of goes back to a line in The Empire Strikes Back when they're on Hoth right at the beginning. And there's a comment, I think Han makes the comment, well, can we get the speeders going? And one of the guys in the hangar bay says, no, we're still having trouble getting them adjusted to the cold weather, right? Something along those lines. I don't have the quote exactly. So a snow speeder that isn't adapted for the extreme cold weather probably wasn't always a snow speeder. At least that's the conclusion that I came to. And this was even, I mean, they always called them snow speeders. So you'd think like, oh, it was made for the cold weather, but either the Hoth system was so cold that it was having trouble with it, or it was a ship built for a different purpose that was being, re-rigged for the cold of Hoth. So this sand speeder comes out. It's supposed to be on Jakku. It's supposed to be in the battle over Jakku, leading up to the events in The Force Awakens. And I'm even thinking like, how we saw like a couple of X-Wings kind of half buried in the sand from wreckage and stuff. I bet that that's where we would have seen a sand speeder, like just in some wreckage. Or maybe there was even a clip of a sand speeder flying around, but it just got cut on the edit floor. You know what I mean? So sand speeder, it's a thing. It was supposed to be on Jakku in The Force Awakens. Lego probably got some snapshots of some pre-production items so they could start building some sets in anticipation or having some things lined up. Sand speeder was probably one of them. But then last minute, I would imagine it gets cut and therefore doesn't make it into the movie. However, Lego having that inside track to some, figures and vehicles and maybe some creatures, they got this before that edit was made. And so it was already in line to be made and couldn't be retracted even if they attempted to, because it was too late. It was a late edit or something like that. I think that's totally cool. Let me get to some of your guys' comments here. So Gilster, yeah, all in on Lego. That's awesome. Derek, Lego. Matt, I am just a little bit older than you. Yep. Let's see. Scuba Pete still builds Legos. That's awesome. Custom building underwater stuff. Ooh, I like that. For like like a fish tank? Custom stuff for like a fish tank? Because that'd be cool. Or just, what do you mean by underwater? Like your pool? You're going to build a Lego city in your pool of Atlantis? That would be awesome. A lot of pieces, though. G4 says, I think for most guys, the counting years got us all out of the toys for a minute. Yeah, definitely. Never apologize for having passion for putting things together. No, you're right there, Anthony. Yeah, we did see the Havoc Marauder. I think a couple episodes ago, we spun it at Josh's house. Okay, so it wasn't, maybe it was the last time. I can't remember if it was a show or if it was 2 shows ago. But yeah, we spun that baby. But you're right. Legos does spurn, that hands-on putting things together. That's not everybody's skill set, but at least it gets things going in some people. And I've always respected Lego for that, because there's definitely a need for people who love to put things together out in our world, right? The engineers, the builders, the people that work with their hands. That's definitely something that we need more of. And I've always appreciated Lego for that. Definitely Saber. Lego is a special brand. Very special brand. Ooh. Gary. G-Force, have you put it together yet? He's referring to the TIE Fighter pilot Lego helmet set that he got at our auction. Let's see. Darth. Rock. Good to see you, man. So yeah, what are your favorite Lego sets? There's, everybody's got their own favorite here, but I think that sand speeder, like, if you can find that, I think it'd be a nice little conversation piece among Star Wars friends. Like, oh, I don't remember snow speeders being brown. And you say, oh yes, but they aren't snow speeders. This one is a sand speeder. All right. That would be awesome. Definitely, Shabby. I want to see you recreate it. If you can, make a little video on it. That'd be rad. I'd watch that. There are some crazy videos on mega sets, custom build Lego sets on YouTube and on Instagram. I'm trying to think of the one that I follow on Instagram. It's nuts. It's like JT Bricks or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are some awesome things out there that people do with Lego, and man, props to the custom builders, man. Good stuff. Okay, the second Lego set comes from the original trilogy and is very obscure. It too did not make it onto the screen. I have a feeling that it got edited out, for one reason or another. And that, and here's the deal, like, the Lego set came out over 20 years after Empire Strikes Back. Okay. But the Lego set exists based off of a short clip that you can see in a documentary about the Empire Strikes Back, or just the Star Wars original trilogy. And they included this little mini rig that was never made, as part of a Lego set. And I absolutely love this, because this is not just, oh, you got, this wasn't, you got some pre-production images to try and work with and make some new Lego sets out of. Then it just didn't end up making it in the movie. This is in the truest sense a deep cut, because there was no toy of it. It was never on screen. It only showed up briefly in a documentary. And I got to pull this picture up here. Thanks, Matt. You can find that sand speeder for about $60 on Amazon. That's not too bad. It's a little bit on the rare side. Oh, what's up, Cantina? Good to see you. All right, let me find this set here. Okay, it's right here. I'm gonna post it up. The mini rig that was never made until Lego decided to make it. The really cool thing about this is that I own this one. At least that's cool to me. I own this one. And it's like, when I first put this set together, I was like, what's this? This, and I get it. Like Lego's getting creative. This was included in a set. This wasn't by itself. So there are other things with it. But yeah, included in a set. It looks like it's maybe a little above ground snowmobile that got kind of tricked out with a little bit of elevated seat and double cannon on top. Again, I love this about Lego. It's an obscure, brief shot in a documentary that never made it on the film. And Lego goes ahead and puts it in a Lego set. Like, just drops it in. Like, you don't know what this is. You don't know how cool this is, but here you go. You don't even know how cool this is. But this one is for you. So shout out to Lego. That's awesome. That's totally awesome, right? You guys agree with me? That's totally awesome. Have you ever seen that before? Or have you even heard of that prior to me speaking it? I know we got some Star Wars nerds here, but have you ever seen this mystery mini rig that never made it on screen, except in a documentary? I think that's totally awesome. Tell me what you think about that. Yeah, this mini rig thing is wild. It's totally wild. Is that what it's called, Gary? Is it the Lego Hoth transporter? The interesting is that if it is called the transporter, it can only transport the driver. It's not like it's, taking things back and forth, or maybe that was the intent of it. I don't know. That's pretty cool, though. Anthony's willing to bet that Favreau and Filoni are going to make use of it in their story. That would be cool. Those little hidden Easter eggs, those little nuggets that only the geeks like us would ever get. I love stuff like that. You can call it fan service. I call it keeping the watcher engaged, right? Just some comments here. It is totally awesome. They need a Lego of the pink shorts boom operator. Yeah. May he rest in peace, by the way. I think we discussed that. He passed away. Well, during the time we've had this podcast. Not today, but within the last couple of years. Shout out to Pink Shorts Boom Guy, who will forever be remembered at Star Wars celebrations. When I think they have the running of the Pink Short Boom Guys. There's always a group of them that show up, I guess. I can't wait to see this spring. Hopefully they still have it in May. Yeah. Okay. That's my Lego chat, and I wish Josh was here because I know he wouldn't have known about the Hoth mini rig. He might have known about the sand speeder. He might have. We might have even talked about it before. Either way, he's just going to have to watch like the rest of us here. The last thing, and this is it. I mean, we might only go about 40 minutes tonight, guys, unless some guys want to hop on and join for a minute. We can do a little Ask Me Anything with Andy. I don't know. But you know how we always like to end the show with the Red 5 Designs toy review. I unfortunately didn't have enough time to set up my own spinner. I do have my own spinner, but I don't have it set up. And I don't have the music too. So you're going to have to think of the music in your head, Gary. You're just going to have to think of it on your own. But I'll go ahead and play the Red 5 design theme if I can find it. Oh yeah. Tonight's Red 5 design toy review comes from my personal collection. It's the only thing Star Wars related that I still... Let me think about that. It's not the only thing I still have, but it's the only toy I still have from when I was a kid. And when you see it, it looks like something that I played with when I was a kid because it's not in pristine condition, but it was never intended to be in pristine condition because I play with my toys. I still play with my toys. I prefer loose rather than in the box. That's a personal preference. If that's not you, that's totally fine. But here is my TIE Interceptor from when I was a kid. Okay. The decals aren't perfect. They're a little wrinkled. I was the one that applied them. You got to understand, this came out in 1983, and I was 6 years old. So the fact that the wings still stay on is pretty friggin' awesome in my book because I know how I played with it. I played it with my G.I. Joes too, right? This was too cool just to let Star Wars people play with it. My G.I. Joes were in this baby, Bomb and Cobra, you know it, all right? This is awesome. I don't have batteries in it at the moment, but it still works, right? It still works. The TIE Interceptor is maybe my favorite Imperial ship. The shuttle is pretty awesome, no doubt about it. But definitely the Interceptor. I love the Interceptor. I like it more than Vader's TIE and the regular TIE or the battle damage TIE or, you know, yada, yada, yada. But here's the thing that I'm most proud of when it comes to that is that I still have the box that came in. Now, the box that it came in not only was the box for my TIE Fighter, it was the box for all of my Star Wars stuff. So as a kid, I had some Star Wars stuff. I had more G.I. Joe stuff because me and both of my brothers, you know, who were younger than me, that was something that we all loved. So the folks went in that direction. I love Star Wars too, but I was kind of on the tail end of that. Like I did see Return of the Jedi in the theater. Dad took me to that. That was awesome. But there wasn't new Star Wars stuff coming out, but there was a ton of G.I. Joe stuff. So that's what I had. For all of my Star Wars stuff, it was contained in this box. Now, this box has been taped together a little bit. Okay. It's not, again, in pristine condition. In fact, I think we had to tape this side together just so that it would close. But this is mine. This was mine from when I was 6. Okay. And I still got the instructions, which is pretty cool. All right. It does open up as well. Let's just take a look at that. How to apply the decals, what to do to clip the wings in and release the wings. How the pilot goes in, and of course the button for the electronics. Right, this is rad. We really do care. You guys ever read that? Shoot, I don't have my glasses. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that another time. But this held all of my Star Wars stuff, and my mom, bless her heart, she doesn't throw things away. So all of my Star Wars stuff went into this box, which then went into my closet. And I still got the proof of purchase. Okay, but this was mine. This is the one thing that lasted. It survived. All right. And I will never get rid of it. And nor do I feel the need to get a nice one. Mine is good enough. It's nice enough. It still works. It still is rad. Oh, did I say that? And one wing just ejected. Eject the other one too, just so they're not lopsided. But yeah, it survived, guys. This is a survivor. This is one of my own. That concludes our Red 5 Designs toy review. Shout out to Greg and Johnny, who are working away at that book that we're all so excited to get. Do you guys still have some of your original Star Wars vehicles and figures? It's totally understandable if you don't. Like, I don't have any figures from when I was a kid for two reasons. One, they just got played with so hard that they didn't survive, right? And that's a good thing, right? It's not, shucks. No, we got a lot of miles out of our toys, didn't we? That's a good thing. You play with them so much that they fall apart. That means that you really liked them. And that's not a bad thing when they go to toy heaven in that way. Sometimes they get lost in a garage sale. That's more of a bummer, right? It's like, did I really need that $20? Because I wish I would have had it still. Do you still have some of your original things? I have that. And a couple Burger King glasses from when I was a kid. Outside of that, I had to go back and get it later as an adult when I had some disposable income. So let's see. Go through some comments there. Definitely. Childhood survivor. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to put a link in the chat. If you want to come on, ask me a question or something about collecting, let's do it. We're only at 37 minutes, which makes this pretty short. So if you know it, Matt, Snake Eyes piloted everything. That was one of my favorites. He was so cool. I can tell you that this is a little G.I. Joe side note, that I'm going to make a video on my G.I. Joes. Now, if you guys remember when we had the website with the network, I did a little thing about my G.I. Joe collection within my Star Wars room. But I'm going to make a little video on that. People like Scuba Pete and Vintage Toy Rush David and some of the other guys, Shabby, who's getting into, kind of the modern G.I. Joes. You guys are inspiring me a little bit to put a video out, and we'll just do it because there's some story behind it. And maybe you might find that interesting. So maybe not. Andy crossing the toy streams. Yep, that's exactly. Like, I had a Fall Guy pickup truck too that some of my figures rode in as well, and an A-Team van, and an Airwolf helicopter. Yeah, we crossed a lot of toy streams at our house because outside of G.I. Joe, we just get a couple. Like, we had a couple He-Man, we had a few Transformers. My youngest brother had a few Ninja Turtles because that kind of hit him in the sweet spot as he grew up. He's a little younger than me, 5 years younger. So we had some of a little bit of everything, except for G.I. Joe. We had a lot of that, right? So yeah, we definitely crossed the toy streams. Yeah, it's priceless, Matt. Can't put a price on it, right? Somebody could offer me, I don't know, whatever they're going, right, for a Interceptor and a beat up boxes, and that's not going to do it. That's not going to pry it out of my hands. No, you give me $500, we can talk. There's a lot I'll do for $500. I'm just kidding. You can't have it. It's mine. The book and the crest, yes, it's going to be an awesome fall. And I got notified that sometime this fall, my Captain Rex sideshow is supposed to arrive as well. So here's hoping. That was supposed to be out a while ago. Darth Muzza's got all your old figs. Congratulations. Well done. That's pretty impressive. Love to see him sometime. 2 toys that you don't know what happened to: your Vader TIE Fighter and Droid Factory. To be honest with you, G-Force, the Droid Factory is a playset that was destined to be lost. There's so many little parts and pieces. Like, the moment any grade school kid opens that thing up, you're losing the little connector pieces, right? Because they're tiny. They get vacuumed up in the rug. Like, that set doesn't have a chance. And it's probably why it's so hard to find a complete one. Yes, Matt, they burnt down. But you've gotten some of them back, right? You've replaced some. Yes, Shabby, I'm right there with you. Thanks, Steve-O. Appreciate that. Man, you guys are commenting like crazy. Love it. Derek says he's got about 60 of his original figures and his Rancor. Nice. Nice. Are they in good shape, I wonder? Or are they beat to heck because you played with them so much? They're pretty beaten. The ramp broke off your Falcon. Yeah, that ramp breaks, right? Those pieces break. But they break because you were playing with them. Let's not lose sight of that, right? These were well-made toys for the most part. You know, solid plastic, a lot better made than some more modern things. Scuba's got all his stuff. That's awesome. The droid factory with the box. Yeah, that's great. If you have all the pieces, then man, that's fantastic. Bespin Luke is your only survivor. Well, I hope you keep it in a place of prominence above your mantle at home. Lando Skiff Guard, Gamorrean Guard, with the cards, no bubbles. Okay, nice. You're one of those guys that kept the cards too. I still have all the old file cards for my G.I. Joes. Yeah. Mom cut them out for us and kept them in a shoebox. We had a shoebox full of them. All your figs went to your sister to give to her son. Oh, that's Toy Story right there. They're just passing down to the next generation. See, I think that's good. That's a good thing. Now, if you ever want them back, sure, grab them or don't, whatever. But someone's still getting to enjoy those. And it's not like Star Wars is something that happened 40 years ago, because it's not. Star Wars happens now. It's happening now. And the characters from back then are still relevant, right? Luke Skywalker, right? Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Vader, right? Like all the main characters are still around, right? Lando, Chewie, 3PO and R2, like they're still relevant. I think that's pretty cool. Yo, Joe. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, Steve-O. Let's do it. Sergeant Slaughter and Refrigerator Perry figures. Nice. Some crossovers. Met Sergeant Slaughter. He gave me one of these. And when I say met, I walked by him at a show, a toy show, and he was there signing autographs, and I gave him a head nod. And he gave me a head nod with a scowl behind mirrored aviators right back at me. And my son was like, "Who is that?" I was like, "Sergeant Slaughter." He's like, "Well, why don't you get his autograph?" I was like, the head nod was enough. What else do we have here? Anthony, I still have Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber that was sold in the street outside of the Ziegfeld Theater in New York City in summer 1999. My dad picked me up 3-inch figures of Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul too. That's a great story. That's a great story. The droid factory was beautiful. I think that's true for all of us, Matt. I think when we look at things like that, we smile, right? That's why we put time and energy into it. We just talk, we just smile and talk about it, and that's so much fun. You've replaced most of them. That's great. It's not a sad ending. It's just a sad part in the middle of the story, right? The beginning is that you got them, and then you lost them, and then you got them again. It's like the original trilogy. Hope, a new hope. Then the Empire strikes back in form of fire, devastation, blowing up Alderaan, that kind of stuff. But then the Jedi returns to your collection. Oh, man, this is poetic. I know now what George Lucas meant. Is it? Oh, God, that thing is so weird, and I love it. God, weird Star Wars makes me smile. It took a lot of proofs of purchase labels, a lot of flag points to mail in for that fridge. Yep, you're right. I think that's true for all of us, G-Force. What a different kid I would be if you could go back to 1978. Yeah, with what you know now, definitely. Definitely. Like Hot Tub Time Machine. We're Back to the Future. Might be a better reference. Muzza, I don't think that's a bad thing at all, especially if the kid's not playing with them. You could just ask your sister, hey, is your kid playing with those Star Wars toys? Because if he's not, I'd like him back. Simple. Do what you feel compelled to do. Derek's Rancor has loose legs and the jaw button mechanics aren't great. All right. Shocking. It was an awesome toy that you played with a lot. Figures are in decent shape, pretty much missing all the accessories, right? No doubt there. And there's ink marks on the bottom of the feet. You can get those off. A little rubbing alcohol sometimes can do the trick. Goof off if it's not a painted on shoe, I think works. Otherwise, it might take some paint off. Yeah, there's definitely some ways. I would look at Toy Polloy on YouTube. He's got a nice little video on how to remove ink from white figures, which is not just dipping or dropping them in peroxide. That's to whiten, but that doesn't get the ink off. But yeah, there's definitely resources out there. Shabby can always tell which figures are from his childhood because they have a black marker under the foot, so my brothers would know that they are mine. All right, that is so true, right? In Toy Story, you know how Woody's boot says Andy on it. I can totally relate to that. Like, actually, I can totally relate to that because having two younger brothers that also had GI Joes, we had to put names on things. So that actually mom had to put names on things so we wouldn't argue about whose was what. And, because we'd have sometimes, 2 or 3, APCs or 2 or 3 Dukes. And, that one's mine. Well, no, it's not. Well, yeah, you busted the thumb. If yours, no, I didn't. That one's yours. The crotch bust. No, that one's yours. So we have to put a little letter, a little initial at the bottom, an A for Andy or an N for Nick or an E for Eric. And so, yeah, I can totally relate to that. That's great, Scuba. That's great. My Star Wars figures have pink nail polish. Okay, whatever you're into. No judgment here. I'm going to go ahead and not throw up. I apologize for saying that. I'm going to post in the chat a link if anybody wants to hop on and chat for a minute. Love to have you in. This is your opportunity. You want to talk collection? I keep threatening to do a walkthrough of my room, and we're getting there. Like, it's going to happen sooner than later. But if you want to hop on and ask me about some stuff that I have or how I got it or what I'm into at the moment, or how my trek for a double telescoping saber is going, we can talk about it. But if you guys want to get on with your evening, that's fine too. So we'll just say show's over. Thanks for coming. Appreciate. And if you want to hang out for the after show, the after party, the party after the party, I'll hang out for a little bit if you guys want to chat. And I realized I didn't give you guys a lot of time to prepare for this, so that's cool too. I wasn't given a lot of time to prepare for not having anyone on with me tonight. But hopefully it goes okay. You guys are having a good time. There's been about the same amount of people in the chat all night. G-Force, don't worry about it, man. Everyone's got to go to bed at some point. And since you're not on the Pacific time zone, it's probably bedtime. I understand. Holochronicles After Dark. Yeah. Well, it's not quite dark here, though. That's the thing. It's dusk. but it's not quite dark yet. Scuba Pete asks, what's my favorite Lego build of all time? I have to say, and this was easy answer for me. Two come to mind, but really there was one. It was the Ultimate Collector Series Slave One. It's big, right? It's wouldn't fit on the screen where I am oriented at the moment. It came with a Boba Fett and a Han and Carbonite and a Bespin. I don't want to say a Bespin soldier, but one of those guys in blue with the little hats, right? Navy blue. But it's a big sucker, over 2,000 pieces. Like, that was the first UCS set that I put together, and it took me I think 3 days of chipping away at it, and my fingers were raw. Like, I hadn't put together a set that big before, and by the end of it, my fingers were raw. But I love it. It's currently in my son's room. He's got all the Lego stuff in his room right now, which it makes his room really cool. I like to just go sit and look in there and smile. But yeah, that's an awesome set. And I know it's a little spendy, especially it's gone up in price too. But I don't know. I think I bought it for $250 at the time. And it's my favorite set. It's my favorite set. If you want to go small set, I do like the Battle on Endor set. I guess that's not really small. It's got a few pieces. It's got the bunker. It came with the ATST. It came with like an Ewok catapult and an Ewok on a hang glider, and a bunch of minifigures and stuff. That was pretty cool too. That took a little bit of time, but I've kind of moved away from small sets, and I'm only doing ships now, or I'll only buy ships for my kids, just because ships are cool, and especially bigger ones. And that's kind of where I'm at with Lego now. Now, obviously, if my kids, for their birthday or Christmas, they want a smaller set, we'll get them. We'll still get them, but the ships go on display. That's what I'll say. Ships go on display. We have tubs of Legos that aren't ships, but the ships go on display. Good question, Pete. Thanks. The Rad V-Dub Super Beetle Sunbug is awesome. I've been driving it to work. It's been nice out, top down, letting my short hair blow in the breeze. I love it. And just for you bug nerds out there, I just got some original wheels for it. The wheels that are on it currently are not original. I got some wheels with the caps that go on them. And this is for down the road, not pressing, but I'm going to have them sandblasted and powder coated back to like bright silver, sparkly. So it's going to be dialed in by next summer. That's my summer 2022 goal, to have the wheels all done up and ready to roll, literally. But thanks for asking. It's dark in Oklahoma. Yep. I was about 10 years old. I took my pocket money to buy, this is Darth Muzza says, to buy an Imperial attack base. There were 3 to choose from, but one was really thick and heavy, and got it home and it had like 7 extra figures in it. Awesome. Were they in baggies? Because that might be something there. Or maybe some worker just got generous and shoved some figures in there. I don't know. Great story. Oh, nah, I guess I'll save that for another time. All right. Nobody's hopping on, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and killing about an hour of your evening. I appreciate you guys so much, especially those of you on the East or Central time, hanging out with me when it's a little past bedtime. I appreciate that. Like and subscribe, share with a friend. I don't know if Scuba Pete sneaks one in there. Yes. Chased, purchased, and waiting to frame. Right. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about that Empire Strikes Back Macquarie print for from Thailand. That was one on the list, and then there's another one, but I can't let the cat out of the bag on that until I get it framed. I don't even want to talk about it until I get it framed. It needs to be framed. Again, that's something. See, my collecting's kind of been put on hold for a few things. Like I'm not getting little things here and there. It's just been kind of like one or two big things last month, one or two big things this month. Now I've kind of had to slow down a little bit. And one reason is because I do want to get this framed and make it look nice before I show it off, because you guys are going to be like, yes, Andy, nice one. That's a great poster. But thanks for sneaking that question in at the very end there, Pete. I appreciate it. Check out our Discord. We have a channel up on Discord now. If you're interested in being a patron for the price of one cheeseburger a month, you can be a patron of the show. That's $5 a month, or more if you feel so compelled. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Josh, thanks you. Jaxxon, thanks you. Those guys were supposed to be here tonight, but life happens, and we just had to go solo tonight. But that's very Star Wars appropriate. I think I just bleeped out there. And we'll see you guys soon. See you next week. I guess I got to end it.